Good Saturday morning, everyone.
Greetings.
Welcome to Metalheads Unite.
That's my best. That's my
Another
best.
special edition.
That's my best Cobra Commander.
What's your best? It's your best Cobra.
That's the best I can do.
Not too bad, actually. Not too bad. So we are joined by Gus Rios. That name may sound familiar to some of you guys. He's in about as many projects as Max Cavalera, looks like. So stays a busy guy, man. So we'll bring him in here, talk about some new stuff, some old stuff, and whatever we can get in. Hey, Gus, how's it going, man?
Gus, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and Jason, just so you know, by count, Gus is actually listed as having 11 active projects right now.
Holy shit, man!
Yeah.
Wow, dude.
I've seen that.
My wife yells at me about this shit all the time.
He's like, "Gee, guys, thanks for bringing that up."
Well, hopefully she's not watching, and she didn't hear.
Yeah.
Hopefully she didn't hear the number, because I don't want Gus getting in trouble.
Yeah.
No, she's aware, because I'm always like, "Hey, I have to leave. Hey, I have to leave. Hey, I have to leave."
She's like, "Wow, you probably count the times you're here easier, right?"
You know what, man? It's a blessing, and I'm grateful for sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the good thing is, obviously, she's probably very supportive of what you do, or you wouldn't still be married.
Right? No. She, I couldn't do it without her. She holds the fort down while I'm gone. So kudos to Mrs. Rios.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome.
Kudos to all the wives of the musicians out there. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And when I was saying, like, one of the busiest guys, I'm not really playing about that, because I mean, Gus, looks like you guys actually had an album out recently with Gruesome as well. Earlier in the year. So now the Cold Slither debut comes out. So it's kind of shows your commitment and all that stuff to the music business, for sure. So
I always say I'm like a shark that if I stop swimming, I'll just die. So I just constantly have to constantly do something.
Yeah, that seems to be a theme with a lot of musicians. They just can't seem to sit still. It seems to be part and parcel of it. So obviously we'll focus on the Cold Slither part first, and we'll see how far we can dive into this. We know we're on a little bit of a truncated timetable, and that's fine. We still appreciate you taking the time to speak with us. So as far as Cold Slither goes, little bit of the background for those of you who aren't Generation X or very, very early millennials like Jason and I. This whole project is based on the fictional band Cold Slither from the original G.I. Joe television series from back in the 80s, season 3, episode 51. The episode is actually entitled Cold Slither. It came out on December 2nd, 1985. So we're talking about a real life project now that developed out of one episode of a Saturday morning children's cartoon from damn near 40 years ago. Now
that's awesome.
It is awesome, for one, and I got Jason, you and I could probably talk about this after Gus has to leave, but I have a little bit of umbrage to take with the episode, so we'll talk about that later. But so Gus, let me ask you this, because I'm actually the one who did the review. Curtis over at our hookup over there at the label, he's the one who actually sent us the album. So we had a little bit of a sneak peek at it, and then I did the review last week when it officially came out. That way I would be able to talk about it in some detail without spoiling anything for everybody. So one thing I want to ask is, how did this project actually come about? Was it kind of, well, and your involvement in it, was it kind of a which came first, the chicken or the egg kind of thing? Like, did Reigning Phoenix have the project and then wanted to put you guys in it, or did they have you guys and they decided they wanted to give you guys the music? So how did this all come about? Because obviously the title track was from the cartoon, and all you guys did was re-record it and brought it into the 2020s. So how did this all kind of come about, and how did you get involved in it?
So the story dates back to God, maybe 2000, early 2000s. I was playing in a band called Malevolent Creation at the time, and Gerardo Martinez, now of RPM, was the label manager for Nuclear Blast.
Oh, Jesus.
And when I met him in person, he was wearing a GI Joe shirt, and I was immediately like, "Yo, I'm a big GI Joe guy too." So we're both just these giant GI Joe nerds, and through all these years, like when a GI Joe line would come out, I'd be like, "Hey, did you find the Snake Eyes? And if you find them, ship them to me." Like we were just GI Joe nerds.
Yeah.
And about
Mhm.
10 years ago, this is actually all his idea because he's a massive GI Joe fan. He's like, "Dude, I want to do Cold Slither," and it's a testament to like what you said. This cartoon is 40 years old,
Yep.
and the fan base is just sort of the fans started making their own shirts, like they started cosplaying the band, like it's just grown into this thing all this time. And Gerardo was like, I'm a heavy metal record label guy. This is a heavy metal band. I love G.I. Joe. I want to make it happen. And he asked me to do it. It's just 10 years ago now. Long story short, the timing wasn't right. G.I. Joe was kind of like dead at Hasbro.
Yeah.
It's since come back. They have these new 6-inch figures that are really, really successful. So the timing was right. I guess behind the scenes, there was going to be a box set coming. So all of these pieces just lined up. And Gerardo asked me to do it because I have a studio. I can play drums. I can play bass. I can play guitar. I sing. And I can just do the whole thing by myself, which is attractive to Hasbro because they want to limit the amount of people involved because they have to vet everybody and they have to make sure that you're not like a
Mhm.
behind the closet Nazi and blah blah blah. So
Right.
having one dude do it was just attractive for them. So and I'm a massive GI Joe guy, which I think is almost most important because the fans. I think one of the most apprehensive things about all of this in the early stages, because the word has sort of gotten out that I'm this, I got a Cobra tattoo. I've had this
Oh,
for
there.
years and years. Like, I'm a big
Right.
fan. So I think it's important for everybody in the fan base to know that this wasn't just some corporate cash grab thing. This is like dudes that love G.I. Joe
Right.
and love metal, and they just put these two things together and, made a record.
Nice. Okay.
And
So
I mean, we've seen a lot of like things over the years kind of come together between two things and metal, and like this is kind of one of the things. Like I said, me and Chris growing up in that generation, kind of like amazed us when I first like when he sent us the thing and he was telling because Curtis sent us all the things where the info about
hmm
the band was there, and I'm just
oh
like
yeah.
I was like, wow, this is. And I read it and I was like, man, this is fucking cool. I was like, I gotta listen to this. So of course, Chris did the review, but I did listen to
hmm
the record,
Yeah.
and like I said, it was very impressed, and great job
Thank
with
you.
that too.
Thank you, man. I
So
appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's my hope is I wanted to write just a good metal record, kind of outside of even the GI Joe attachment, because I guess I selfishly hope it grows some legs and we can tour and stuff. But I was hoping. especially since I pulled Matt Harvey in and Ross and Andy from KMFDM, like maybe the metal scene will start to pay attention to this outside of the GI Joe community and be like, hey, this is actually pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
This is killer music. I mean, that's what you hope for anyway.
Now, what were the personal ties with the other guys in the band? How did they get brought in?
Well, obviously Matt Harvey and I, we play in two other bands together, and he's just
Right.
like my right hand dude.
Right.
Ross from Exhumed and I have known each other for years because he's a massive GI Joe nerd too.
Okay.
So that was kind of a no brainer. And then Andy from KMFDM, he lives here locally. Him and I do like a heavy metal Depeche Mode tribute thing. And he literally looks like the cartoon character and he talks like the cartoon character because he's from London. So I was like, listen, man, you literally look like the dude and you sound like the dude. You play drums killer, be like, you're the guy. So, and everybody's just, we all know each other. Everybody's a pro, and I knew we were going to play live. So I wanted the band to deliver. I didn't want people to, because I would imagine people are like, is this going to be some gimmicky bullshit? And like, no, man, everybody's a real, decades plus touring musician. Like,
Right.
this is what we do.
Yeah, I mean
So that does,
it's not gimmicky, but it has its inspiration. Of course, everything does. So
right.
that doesn't make it a gimmick. I mean,
Well, people are cynical, and I feel like, it's because it's this cartoon episode band, there's going to be a certain group of people who are like, well, let's see if this is real shit. And my thing was like, yeah, man, I'm gonna pull in all my dudes. We're all touring professionals. We're gonna rock this house. And man, the show went killer. Everybody played great. We rehearsed, I think, only 3 times and played like almost a flawless show. So that's why you pull in, heavy dudes. So people,
Right.
we deliver.
referring to the show on the 24th at Brick by Brick, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. I have to be 100% honest. When Curtis first sent us, all the information, at first I thought it was kind of like Metalocalypse and Death Clock, that kind of thing. I thought, it was kind of something like that. I guess technically in a kind of roundabout way,
It's we're
it kind of is.
similar.
Yeah, it kind of is. But at first I thought it was either that, which I love the cart. I love the show. We have the whole show on. We have all of the DVDs, and I would love. And Brendan Small is fucking awesome, and
Great dude.
I would love to see Death Clock live once. At some point, but I thought it was either that or my other thing is maybe this is kind of an AI thing initially that is going to have live musicians kind of brought into it. So I wasn't sure exactly what it was at first, like when we first got the emails and everything. And then I started, I think and Jason, you could check me on this, but I think we actually got maybe 3 or 4 different sets of press releases about the album from Curtis. I think we got 3 or 4, something like that. And then, so I started doing the research and everything else and then listened to it a few times. And then as it got closer to the release date, I told Jason, I said, I'm going to actually do the formal review on this. I said, I've already listened to it a few times. And then, I dug in. I was like, all right, this is actually, honest, like you said, honest to God, pure heavy metal musicians who have come in and got this together. And of course, I didn't, wasn't sure at the time. And then, obviously now you've told us a story about how you guys have all come together. But I knew there was actual legitimate pedigree behind the whole thing. So doing all the research, finding all that stuff out, decided to do the review. And then obviously, here we are. So my confession was at first I wasn't sure what it was going to be either, the finished product leading up to now and the release and everything. So obviously, like I say, we had a leg up thanks to our connection with Curtis. So we had a little bit of a head start, which was nice because now, like I say, the album just came out a week ago. How has it been received so far?
I got to tell you, I was in all of these GI Joe groups on Facebook anyway for a while, and I kind of waited to see what they were going to say. And I think for me personally, honestly, the most fulfilling thing has been the acceptance, at least seemingly, mostly or whatever, the acceptance of the fan base that, this is Cold Slither. Like, I am Zartan, like Matt
Mhm.
is Ripper, like, which for me, to become part of this universe that I love so deeply. And I wrote an article for Decibel magazine, that came out a couple months ago, called I called it the toys that saved me, and it kind of goes into my childhood and how big of a role GI Joe and Transformers and stuff played in my childhood. For me, it was this escape, and they got me through a lot of stuff. So I have this real deep, sincere reverence for all of this stuff. So for me to now be part of this universe, it's kind of hard to really put into words what it means to me. It's amazing, and to be able to do it, like if Cold Slither would have been like a pop band or like a hip hop band or something, like a style of music that I don't really have a connection to. To have it be a metal band where I get to play my guitar through my Marshall with like drums, and it's like heavy stuff. I mean, obviously not as heavy as death metal, but it's not,
Sure.
it's not pop rock. To
Right.
be able to do it in that way is just so fulfilling, man. Like I really, I really hope I would love to do a Cold Slither Death Clock tour.
Oh
Um,
man.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
right?
That would be
Shit
Yeah.
writes
awesome.
itself.
That would be awesome. Holy shit, that'd be
Mm.
badass.
So, shout out if this comes across their radar, hit us up.
Yeah. Well, hell, may actually have to put that ball in Curtis's court and see if he might be able to get somebody at RPM to kind of
Yeah.
swing a few at the
You
fences.
and
Speak.
we've said this to a lot of people. Reigning Phoenix label, man. Like those guys over there are, man. Like if you're on that label, you're getting promoted. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Like these guys have worked. They're working their
They
ass off for
are.
you guys,
God, they
and
are.
I think it's awesome.
I do
I
too.
think it's freaking. Yeah, I think that's
I
awesome.
mean, Gerardo ran the world's biggest heavy metal label for decades. Like, the guy knows what he's
Right.
doing. So for
Exactly.
me,
Exactly.
I'm stoked to be working with him again. I'm stoked to be part of this family. Like, it's just everything about this has just been so great, and I'm just so grateful to be here for sure.
And I love
So
the mix that they have over there, where they're not just like, because I mean, if you like go back and you listen to like Roadrunner and stuff like that, they didn't have as good of a mix as they do over here at RPM, where they have death metal, they have heavy metal, they have power metal. They I mean, they pretty much represent every aspect of metal that you can think of. So
Well, I mean, I don't know
I
how
think
old you guys are, but like in the early 90s, metal wasn't really quite as diverse as it is now. Like, you
right.
either had
exactly.
thrash metal was kind of fizzing out, and this is what really begat death metal, because metal musicians, I can tell you at the time, thrash bands were letting us down left and right. I mean, I love Testament, but when I heard the Ritual, I was like, the hell is this? And then, right at the same time, you start hearing Death and Obituary, and you're like, that's my shit. Like, I want to hear heavy, heavy, heavy stuff. So like death
Yeah.
metal really was just, it came in, and at the time, black metal wasn't even a thing in the early 90s. It wasn't until like 93, 94 that black metal really kind of started taking off. So right in like 89, 90, dude, there was like heavy metal, thrash metal, and death metal. That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely hadn't, because hair metal had basically died, and
Mm-hmm.
it was right yeah,
Uh,
right around
as
the
I
right.
always say, a self inflicted wound. That's what I
Oh, and
always
no,
say.
no. I mean,
So,
absolutely. I mean, it was like, death. It's like death by a thousand cuts. You're
Yeah.
taking it to your own
mm,
forehead, for Christ's sake. Look like New Jack over here with his goddamn forehead all torn
oh
up.
my god.
But yeah, see, I can do wrestling. I can do wrestling shit too. But I know who New Jack is.
Oh my
Um,
god.
but speaking
Uh,
speaking of reigning Phoenix music, the label themselves, the fucking intro, man. I, I could,
Oh, the album.
I could, yeah, the intro to the album. I could not fucking,
Oh yeah.
the half-witted record exec line.
Yeah, and I gotta tell
I,
you, man, like that was all part. Gerardo Martinez of Reigning Phoenix Music loves GI Joe.
yeah,
Like we love GI Joe. I mean, actually, dude, I was texting with him just yesterday, and I was like, "Hey, man, I know you signed Slayer, you've done a lot of really cool stuff in your time, but I go, this has got to be pretty cool." And he wrote back, "This has been the highlight of my career. Like
I'll see that.
I loved." He just loves GI Joe, man, and it's like to be part of this is just for us. It's like it's unreal, man. He's a legit dude.
Yeah. Well, if you guys ever make it up to Chicago, you got to hook up with CM Punk because I think he has a Cobra tattoo on his arm too, doesn't he?
No
Yeah,
way.
he does.
I
Yeah.
think
Right on.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it's on the opposite shoulder from his fucking Pepsi tattoo.
Yeah.
Wow.
uh, and also in reference to the intro, who did you guys get to do the voice of Cobra Commander? Who did that?
Man, I'll tell you, and I just found out recently, and I don't know how much you guys know, like all this toy stuff, but Starscream from the current Transformers universe
Yeah.
did the code. It's this guy named Frank Tadero, and
Okay.
he's kind of like the Hasbro default Cobra Commander guy now, because the original guy Chris Latta died years and years and years ago. So,
Yeah.
to have the guy that voices Starscream currently do this is, I mean, what an honor.
Yeah, and because I knew that the original guy wasn't around anymore, but I was like, Jesus Christ, it's fucking uncanny. Because I
Yeah, it's
mean,
pretty good, man.
because I mean, if because like if you didn't know that it wasn't the same guy, I was like that dude's a dead fucking ringer. It's ridiculous.
It definitely, we knew it had to be there. And this was all, and that was Gerardo's idea. Like, hey, man, I want an intro and I want Cobra Commander and like, and I want it to be like they're taking over the record label and blah, blah. Like, it's just been such a lot of fun. I mean, for me, I would imagine same as him. Like there was a certain pressure on our backs to deliver
Sure.
the Cold Slither record, but I think all the years of doing Gruesome, where every single time we make a record, it's this huge weight on our shoulders because we have to stand up to these, monolithic great albums in death metal history.
Yeah.
I think it's just a pressure I'm used to working with.
Yeah. Well, I mean, artists are always their own harshest critic anyway, but when you're talking about something like this, that's a genuine dream come true, labor of love kind of whole thing, bringing your childhood into your current day, every current day, everyday work life. I can only imagine how much more pressure that would have added to you on top of, just the normal amount of pressure of just, all right, we have to make another album because of X, Y, Z, whatever.
Right. Well, the big thing with this was like, since there was only the one song on the cartoon, which did sort of give me some trajectories. Like I knew what the voice was going to be, and I kind of knew the parameters of how heavy I was going to go.
Mm-hmm.
But still, like it fell squarely on my shoulders. What does Cold Slither sound like? Like, what does this band sound like?
Yeah.
And I labored with it for a while. And my wife one day was just like, "Hey, you are a real heavy metal musician, and you love GI Joe. Just just go." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, I guess that's what I'm going to do." And that's, I wrote the first song, submitted it. Hasbro and RPM both okayed it. I wrote the next song, both parties okayed it, and that's when I was like, okay, cool. I think I know what I'm doing.
So I mean, so when was that? Because I mean, that's basically like the official start of the album coming together. So when did you submit? Like was the title track, the re-recording of the title track, the first?
Yeah, that was the first thing I did, which, again, I used the same amp and setup as we used in Gruesome. Like it's a Marshall with the same pedals in front of it. It's like death metal guitar tone, with big, fat, heavy, live, real drums. And I submitted that, and I was, I hope, I guess they could have been like, oh, that's too heavy. Certainly, Gerardo wasn't going to say that, but maybe Hasbro
Sure.
was like, "Oh, that's too much." But I got to say, man, Hasbro was completely hands off. Like they never told me, "Hey," they never gave me any real musical guidelines. Like I had to submit the song titles and the lyrics for obvious reasons. Hasbro doesn't want like I cut Duke's head off and I ate his guts or whatever. So and again, as a toy fan, I knew where the parameters should be,
Sure.
Yeah.
and I didn't want to write stupid kid lyrics.
Right.
I wanted them to be adult like, but just about this ridiculous thing, you know.
Yeah, you had to find you you had to find a heavy metal adult way to write about these fluffies being fatal.
Which, funny enough, that wasn't one of the song titles that they told me because I submitted 9 titles. They agreed to 6 or 7 of them, and then they gave me 2 or 3. One of which was "These Fluffies Are Fatal," and I was like, and I immediately knew what it was because I'm such a fan. And I was
Yeah,
like, how the hell am I going to make this like remotely adult like?
you're right. Yeah.
Whether I succeeded or not, I guess is up to the listener.
No,
But
I was actually pretty impressed because I mean, well, good impressed with the whole thing, but I mean, what I liked was that was all of the sound bites that were in the show. And I mean, even the intro to "These Fluffies Are Fatal," you still had it in there. You still, sincerely Cobra Commander. I was like, Jesus Christ! I mean, you even put that in there. So I mean, I mean, it was just about as comprehensive as you can get. And
well,
that was actually one of the illusions I made in the review was the amount of callbacks to the original show.
I think therein lies like even the casual GI Joe fan wouldn't have done that. Like as soon as I saw the title and I realized I had to write lyrics, I knew that was the sample I wanted right where it is. Like there's no random anything. Like
Yeah.
I know the episodes well enough because I'm a big enough nerd that I actually watch them still.
Hmm.
And I knew in each song like what sample I wanted where.
Well, and I love that you even wrote a song about just the hideout in the swamp that Zartan was hiding out in.
Mhm.
That's, I mean, it's like, so going back and rewatching the episode because I'll be 100% honest. I remember the show and I watched the show, but we're talking 40 years ago at this point. I was like when the show first came out. That show was on from me being 5 to 8. I just turned 47.
Right.
So I remember the show. I watched the show when I was that young. But, going back and watching the actual episode, it's almost like it was kind of like watching the episode and following, because obviously not every song has everything to do with that episode, because
Mhm.
because we'll talk about the ballad here in a minute. But you know it was kind of like a little bit, the album was almost a little bit of a roadmap, because I got to that one part where Cobra Commander goes out and hires Zartan and the Dreadnoks and everything, and I'm like, oh, I know what track this is, and I know all that shit. So it was a little bit of a vague roadmap, but so that was kind of cool to kind of be able to follow. I was like, I know where you got that, I know where you got that, I know where you got that. Now I brought up the ballad of Buzzer. Now that was interesting to me that you came up with that. Now, what was the inspiration for the ballad?
Well, that was one of the ones that the title of the song came first because I just thought it sounded cool,
Yeah.
like the Ballad of Buzzer, which obviously it's not even in the lyrics; it's just a cool title.
Mm-hmm.
And then, since it wasn't fleshed out in the cartoon, I did have to go and do a deep dive into the character because Hasbro does have complete backstories for everybody.
Okay.
And it turns out he was a Cambridge University like professor, and he went to Australia to study the dreadnoughts and lost his mind and became a dreadnought, which to me was a psychological profile. That was someone who was devoid of a real deep sense of self, and had a lot of issues here, which, spoiler alert, I kind of do too. So um, there's a little autobiographical in that lyric for sure. Like to me, that's one of the real, actual deeper songs on the record. And then musically, I knew it was going to be a ballad. Um, so I just sort of, this just came up with the chords and the progression, and and then it's kind of when it all came together, I was like, damn, this is kind of a killer like metal ballad.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Now, see, and your whole description of it is fantastic because, like I say, I'm not. I'm nowhere close to the in-depth fan that you are. Of course, listening to you, I don't think too many people are going to be. But just as we like to do when we're talking to, someone from a band with all original material that came out of their own heads, with, everyday real life inspiration from life experiences or whatever, it's cool to be able to get that backstory and the inspiration from you being the artist, even though we know exactly where we know where the source material came from. I had no idea how deep the character went, and I'm guessing that all the characters, Buzzer, Ripper, Torch, Zartan. I'm sure, having heard that now, I'm sure every single one of them has that
Oh
has
yeah.
has that deep of a backstory.
Zartan on the original action figure in the 80s, which they have since obviously removed because of PC, but
Yeah,
he's
right.
listed as a paranoid schizophrenic
Hmm.
on the toy. So like, there was like there's the deep psychological stuff. If you just peel back a couple of layers, which as an adult to go back and learn all that, I'm like, man, it's why it kind of holds up
Yeah.
as an adult. Like if you go back and you watch He-Man as an adult, no, that shit doesn't hold up. It's like unwatchable.
Yeah.
Even the Transformers cartoon is, as much as I love Transformers, that cartoon doesn't really hold up as an adult. GI Joe, more so than any other cartoon, it still holds up as an adult.
Well, when we were researching this, I actually watched the Cold Slither episode, and I was noticing, I'm like, man, to think about this being in the '80s or whatever, and it's like the shooting and the sound effects and everything to be spot on like that is just so crazy to me to think about now. I mean, of course, then I was just a kid, I didn't care, but now it's kind of like thinking about how the timing and the sound effects and the actual production of all that was. It's like, man, they were ahead of their time. I mean, I think they were.
Well, go even a step deeper than that. In that period of the '80s was when that whole satanic panic thing was happening,
Right.
Yeah.
and the subliminal messages and shit, and
Oh
everybody
yeah.
was freaking out.
Yeah.
For them to go, hey, let's make an episode about that
Yeah.
for kids, pretty
That
ballsy, man.
that
Yeah,
was
it was. Yeah.
and that was actually why they ended up choosing heavy metal music, because
Mhm.
of everything that was going on at the time. Because it was, we're talking about 85 when the episode came out, and you referenced the satanic panic and everything, and I don't exactly remember the exact timeline of when all the shit happened with, PMRC and Suicide Solution
Yeah.
with Ozzy Osbourne, and the shit that Judas Priest went through. So, but right, that middle part of the 80s, it was all the fucking white mother pearl clutching, all this
Mhm.
overreacting bullshit. So I mean, it made for a good episode, but like you say, it was actually, like you say, ballsy was actually a good way to put it, because I mean, heavy metal, I mean, other than people who listened to it, was fucking under attack. Probably, I would say, like
Constantly.
like a time like no other. I don't think,
Yeah.
except for, I
Well, it
mean,
was.
maybe when it first came out, like when Black Sabbath probably got some mainstream attention, maybe then. But I don't know. The 80s, it was bad.
Yeah, well, because the '80s was when heavy metal really. I mean, heavy metal exploded enough in the '80s that it made its way into a cartoon for kids,
Yeah,
right? So, like, it had really sort of the tentacles of heavy metal had started to grow,
yeah.
and like you said, all these mothers were like, "Oh no, the children," you know.
Mhm. Yeah.
I turned out semi okay. So
Same. Yeah. Same.
Yeah, I know you're fixing to have to go, but I wanted to ask this before, while we're in this, and I wanted to get corrected if it isn't correct. But you're only accredited with this project as being a vocalist. Is that correct? Or
no, I wrote, recorded, I did everything.
yeah, but I'm just saying this project, your other projects, you don't really do vocals on, or
No, I mean, my job at home is I sing and play guitar for a living. So like my job at home is to
right?
sing. But the bands that most anybody would know me from, I'm actually the drummer.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that's why I was just kind
So
of
I just put
so
on a lot of hats.
there you go. Yeah. So I mean, that was going to answer my next question. So it obviously wasn't a very big transition for you since you were already singing and doing that on a pretty much daily
Yeah,
single basis.
that's the day job.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
So you actually have a day job, music, and
Well, spoiler alert: death metal doesn't make us rich. So
yeah, right. Yeah, that's one of the things when we started this project that we're doing is because a lot of the bands that we thought needed to be, put in front of people. We was like, hey, here's an opportunity. We could do that. So we're that's
Right.
as
Yep.
a metal fan, like
yeah.
same way with you as GI Joe. As a metal fan, we wanted to do our part and put
Right.
as many bands in front of people as possible because
Uh-huh.
if you listen to somebody's playlist, they got like 10 bands on there. I'm like, dude, you got to expand your
Yeah. You have any
you
idea?
gotta,
Yeah. You have no idea what you're
what are
missing.
what you're missing? Like
You have
Jesus
no
Christ,
idea
man.
what you're missing.
Well, you guys are fighting a good fight, and I
Yeah.
appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man.
We're trying.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're trying.
Well, I know you
Doing
got to
our best.
run, Gus, and we appreciate you. Obviously, finally getting with you. I know we tried to do this one other time, and you actually had a gig you had to do or something. And Curtis said, "Hey, he had a gig." I said, "It's all good, man. Don't worry about it." So,
Yeah, but I normally don't have a gig this early on a Saturday, but I got to play from 1 to 4 outside in this. It's going to be 107 degrees today, so this may be my last interview ever.
Oh, gross.
man,
Jesus
are
Christ.
you?
It's it's.
Where are you from?
I actually live 3 miles from the actual Florida Everglades, so that's the
Gotcha.
dreadnought.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the official dreadnought hideout. So
I was.
I'm
That's
the
a
real
dreadnought
shit.
hideout.
I was about to say, yeah, you're not far from Zartan's house. That's right.
Yeah,
That's it.
that even makes this just that much more cooler, dude. I ain't even
It
gonna
does.
lie. Like,
Yeah, it
I
does.
mean, when I started putting it all together in my head, I was like, "Well, shit! I live like 3 miles from the Everglades. I ride a motorcycle." I was like, "Motherfucker, I am a dreadnought."
there you go. There you
That's
go.
right. And you didn't even have to audition.
I
I
know.
did not. That's a nice little call. Hey,
Yeah,
you done some
yeah.
homework, man.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
hopefully,
I listened. I work nights. I listened to the album. I am no bullshit. I listened to the album all night last night. I got to the end of These Fluffies Are Fatal, track 1. I got to the end of track These Fluffies Are Fatal, track 1. I just kept starting that motherfucker all over. Just
Well, I mean, honestly, obviously, dude, I appreciate it, man. Obviously, as I go here, just thank you guys for everything and thank you for the support. But I mean, honestly, it's very comforting and confidence building for me to hear from a more heavy metal than GI Joe fan that
yeah,
they enjoyed the record. So like that was one of my ultimate other goals is that for if you're just a metal fan and you paid attention to this because you hear of who's in the band, and you're like, well, what the hell is this? And you enjoy it, man, then mission accomplished for me. So I'm very, very stoked. Appreciate it, man.
well, yeah, man. Well, good luck with all of it, and hopefully, we get a Cold Slither 2 out of the deal at some
yeah.
point. So, I mean, hopefully, it
I
does
mean,
well enough.
I'm hoping for, selfishly, I hope the record grows some legs. I
Yeah,
hope it sells a lot
we
of
do too.
copies, and I hope they get flooded with tour or show offers, and put us out there in these clown outfits so we can rock and roll for the
Hey,
for the for the whole country.
Yeah,
whatever works, man. All right, Gus, we appreciate you. We appreciate you coming by and hanging out with us. Good luck with your gig today, and for everybody watching today. And now you know, and knowing is half the battle.
yeah. So,
Gee, Joe. All right, guys. Thanks a lot, man.
thanks,
See you,
Gus,
Gus.
man.
Thanks, man.
Later, man.
Yeah. He's fixing to be sweating himself to death.
Oh, good Lord. Yeah.
Uh,
God. Ugh.
Man.
I mean, August in Florida. Ugh, gross.
Yeah. Oh, well, he said 107. I was like, man, he must be in Phoenix. That's the first thing I thought of. So,
Well,
I mean, just as bad, probably. It's probably even
yeah.
like probably worse there because I bet it's like sticky and hot.
Yeah, the humidity is so much worse. But
Because as they say in Arizona, that's a dry heat. Like it makes a damn difference.
fucking hey, as far as I'm concerned, hot is hot. It's
Yeah,
just
it's 100. It's 107. 107. Like,
yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, that was I know that Gus had to kind of cut it short today, but man,
maybe we can get together with Curtis and set another one up or something.
Yeah, well,
because I'd love to dig deeper, especially with him being in some of the other bands that we were talking about.
Well, I mean,
love to
we need to
on a lot of that. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, we need to listen to the Silent Echoes album.
Right.
That Gruesome.
Well,
came out
so
with.
I listened to the Gruesome album already. It's
did you? Okay.
Yeah, I've listened to it. It's good. I like it.
Yeah. So I mean, maybe we can set something back up, and then maybe
there's a couple of projects that he was doing that I couldn't find anything on, which was kind of weird. But I was
really.
Like, yeah, I think was it the Kill Division? I think no, Create a Kill. I was trying to find that Create a Kill. I couldn't find anything on it. So
okay.
And I didn't realize I've heard of Kill Division, and I didn't realize he was even in that project. So it's pretty cool, man. Like he's definitely a busy guy. So
I love how he was like, oh yeah, I used to be in a band called Malevolent Creation. Like we didn't know who the fuck Malevolent. I know, right?
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things I kind of wanted to get his insight on with kind of what's going on with that band right now, seeing if he had any insight as to what's what may be happening with them. Or,
I mean,
because to me, like I don't want him to start a bunch of bullshit with him. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's good to hear some perspective from somebody that knows the guys. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like because we know how the media kind of takes and spins stuff into into a damn story. So it's kind of like maybe this isn't what they're making it out to be. So
sure.
I always like to hear somebody that actually knows the guys and be like, yeah, that's this guy's this guy really is a dick, and that's probably why, It's like, I mean,
right.
I mean, because we've heard, we can go back to the Tim Lambisa stuff. We've heard stories about him for years, and we knew he was like he was, and then all of a sudden they implode, and we're like, and it was funny because when it happened, we were just like, I ain't seen that coming. It's kind of like we weren't even surprised about it.
Yeah, no, none of it was really a surprise. Yeah. And the funny thing about Malevolent Creation, I kind of looking at their page. I mean, they haven't put anything out since 2019. I mean, they've got some compilations, a live album, like a box set, and they did a split album with Monstrosity in 2023. But I mean, I thought they was working on something like this, and that's kind of what happened where they were in the middle of working on something new. And I don't know.
Heads just butted, I guess, and
it'd be good. But the band is still showing as active. So I mean, whatever.
Yeah, they're still active. I mean, they're just
whatever's going on. I guess is kind of at a low boil, I guess, right now. But before we go any further, I know you put it up on the bottom of the screen there. I want to give a shout out to Hank Hill, who's once again joining us in the chat on YouTube. Thank you, Hank Hill. Appreciate that. But like I said, when we were talking to Gus, I mentioned this for a second, and I know we didn't get a chance to dive into it because I wanted to make sure we actually talked to Gus about what Gus was doing while we were doing it. But I went back and I watched the episode, the actual Cold Slither episode.
I got you right here, man. Hold on.
Yeah. Well, did you?
We're going to do this.
Did you watch the whole episode?
I watched the whole episode.
Okay. It pissed me off when they got to the part where the kid was listening to the fucking song in school. He was in the hallway outside the classroom. Light. And then cut to the actual classroom, and what happened? Fucking teacher is like writing something, and she snaps her pencil in half. This old fucking gray-haired lady with a goddamn string of pearls on, mind you. Yeah. And what does she say? I can't grade these papers with that music. And I'm like, oh, fuck off. You know what I mean? It's just, kiss my ass with that.
Dee Snider going, I want to rock.
Exactly, yeah. God. I mean, 40 years ago, and you just want to kick an old lady in the teeth, and she wasn't even real.
We can get a little taste here. Let's go. Action! Uh-oh.
Oh, of course you got to watch the ad first.
We're Cold Slither, you'll be joining us soon. A band of vipers playing our tune. With an iron fist and a reptile's hiss, we shall rule. We're tired of words, we've heard it before. We're not gonna play the game no more. Don't tell us what's right, don't tell us what's wrong. To learn to resist, cause Cobra is strong. We're Cold Slither, heavy metal machine. To the eyes of the laser, in you will free. With the venom stings, and you
I mean, the Cobra Commander kicked that dude right square.
Yeah, right.
We're tired of words, we've heard it before. We're not gonna play the game no more. Don't tell us what's wrong.
Not for nothing, that paper airplane landed perfectly on his head.
To resist, cause Cobra is
Yeah, right here.
strong.
Yeah, look. Oh, that music. Oh, fuck off.
But that's a little taste of well,
That was the inspiration for what has become a real life Cold Slither band and
Correct.
album. Oh, I'm on the other side. I'm on the other side.
Mm.
I was over here. Now I'm over there.
Cobra did it again.
That's right. They did. Oh,
Swapped us. Damn
they
it.
did. They did it again. They freaky Friday'd us on the screen.
Oh man, that's
I'll be Jamie Lee Curtis though. You can be Lisa Lohan. Gross. So.
I mean,
Well, actually, you're older. I guess I have to be Lisa Lohan.
Yeah.
But or Lindsay Lohan? Lisa?
Yeah, Lindsay.
Lindsay Lohan. Yeah, you are a little older. I guess you have to be Jamie Lee Curtis. But
well, we could. Well, I won't get. We can both just act like dumbasses, but
well, I mean, we do that anyway. But
because personally, they both do, but
well, yeah, that's true. But this is very true.
Well, hopefully, the younger ones got her shit together and back on track with her career, but she definitely destroyed it there for a while. So
yeah, well, she was going down a bad path, but I think she's kind of like.
But if you look back and look at I know we're getting off music, but you go back and look at like a lot of those kids that grew up in that era with Disney or Nickelodeon, they all like whacked out, man. Like at some point, Britney Spears, and then you had what was her freaking name from Amanda Bynes, all those. All those people just fucking lost their shit at some point. It was like so to me. You put what's the common denominator? I guess it's kind of what I was looking at. Common denominator is you grew up in the kids show stuff, and we've seen some of those specials of what goes on behind the scenes there. So my first thought is they're just dealing with abuse and whether it be verbal, sexual, whatever.
Oh yeah.
But they're just dealing with that, and that's the way they coped with it was going off the rails, on a crazy train. So. Miss you, Ozzy.
Yeah, we miss you, dude. The funny thing is, the last 2 weeks, of course, last week and a half, because when Ozzy passed away, it was like on a Tuesday. Ever since Ozzy passed away, with the exception of like last week's interview and this week's interview, I've really listened to nothing but Ozzy Osbourne and Black Sabbath.
Yeah, I don't know if you seen that or not, but I added a bunch of other stuff to that playlist that I did I did that one playlist just because I only had an hour to, free time to do that live show on the radio. But I have since added some more songs to that playlist. I mean,
oh no, I didn't know that.
So
okay,
I think there's
cool.
2.5 hours worth of stuff there now. So
nice. Okay,
because I didn't really dip into a lot of the newer stuff because I felt like we were celebrating. Ozzy, and I wanted to make sure we were doing that in his peak and prime, I guess, So
I get that. Oh, yeah.
Because I feel like that, he's had to, no disrespect, but he's had to he had to, I mean, let me rephrase because it is past tense now. Sorry.
Right. At this point. Yeah.
So, but he had to play to his strengths at the time. So I mean, once you
Hmm.
get into your 60s and 70s, your strengths aren't screaming crazy train, of course. But,
Right.
but so I mean, some of the songs were more mellow and more. I think he had to go back to maybe more doomy sound like he originally started with Black Sabbath at
Yeah.
the end there because he couldn't do a lot of the other notes and stuff that he's used to doing with Bark at the Moon and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So
Well,
I
I
mean,
mean,
I wanted to celebrate Ozzy for what we all kind of fell in love with Ozzy. You know what I mean? It's
hmm
kind of even the Black Sabbath up until the point of like No More Tears and Osmosis and that kind of stuff. But I did wind up putting some Patient Number 9 stuff under the Graveyard. I put a
yeah.
couple of newer stuff on there because there's nothing wrong with it. I just thought when I did the initial celebration, I wanted to celebrate Ozzy for what made Ozzy Ozzy.
Oh,
So
100%. I mean, that was the absolutely logical course of action to take. Absolutely. But yeah, because I mean, later on in his career, I mean, when you're talking about like Black Rain and Scream and
right,
what do you say, Patient Number 9 and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, there was good stuff on every single one of those albums. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't,
it was a lot. The tempos were a lot
yeah,
slower and stuff like that.
yeah,
So,
they were.
and that's probably why Zach wasn't on some of that stuff because I don't know if he can play that slow. But so, oh
It's true.
man,
It's true.
yeah. So you guys go check out that Cold Slither album. It's actually pretty good. I like
No,
it.
it is. It is very good. I mean, it was inspired by a cartoon, but that doesn't take
No,
a that doesn't
no,
take away, that doesn't take away, from the quality of the composition, the production, and everything else, everything that Gus wrote. You
I
know,
was
I mean, it's serious but fun at the same time, and
right, right.
there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing
Well,
wrong with that.
well, I mean, I think at some point you do things, with the that you do when you do things that you enjoy. It doesn't, like they say, it doesn't seem like work. And I mean, maybe it doesn't because, like I said, you go out and you do the thing that you're loving, and then you're taking something from your childhood and incorporating in that thing. So now you have two things that you actually love involved in one project. I mean, how could you freaking go wrong with that? I don't,
Right. And that's another thing is like he got to put together a project that literally meant something to him.
Exactly, yeah,
And I know that every musician, and regardless of genre, metal, whatever, I know that every musician who writes their own music, that is, every musician who writes their own music is writing about something that means something to them, whether it's from good experiences, bad experiences, whatever. Any musician that writes their own music is writing something that means to them. But to
right.
be able to take something from your youth, from
Mhm.
40 plus years ago at this
That's
point,
crazy, dude.
to be able to bring that this far forward, to be working for somebody that you've known for God knows how long and has that exact same interest, and
Oh,
gives
that's
you
good. Yeah,
gives you the blessing to go ahead and put those two things together, give you the time and resources to do that, and then to have the end result be this. Then yeah, I mean, I can totally understand, why he feels the way he feels about it.
yeah.
Like I say, it's got a little bit of campiness to it. There was stuff that I chuckled at, and stuff like that. But I mean, but again, that also comes from like our experience with GI Joe, which is nowhere near as deep as his. But still, like I say, I remember the cartoon. I watched the cartoon. I haven't done the deep dive into the background of every character, but I mean, that doesn't mean I don't remember the show. That doesn't mean I didn't watch the show and stuff like that. And of course, I can still enjoy the references brought forward 4 decades later.
Yeah. So was I hearing correctly? They've actually brought that back and started doing more episodes. Do you know that? Or
I don't know if they have or not.
I've seen some stuff that's dated 2024, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like I haven't watched it yet. But if it May 20, Paramount was the video. Say, oh, that's just the films. Okay. because they did do a Snake Eyes film. I remember that.
Yeah,
And they did the G.I. Joes back in
yeah,
the early 2000s or late
yeah,
2000s, 2010s, I guess it should have been.
yeah. Which they weren't bad.
Yeah, but they had to put the Rock in there and mess it all up.
But yeah, I mean the movies weren't bad, but so they were alright. I don't think I actually watched the standalone Snake Eyes movie. I don't think I have.
It's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, it kind of tells the story of why he became how he became and all that good stuff. So
sure, I imagined it was an origin.
But I was saying, I was
excuse me.
I was going to say if they did actually kind of bring that back and start doing new cartoons, then that would be cool because then they could add this back into.
Sorry.
They could add the Cold Slither back into one of the episodes, because
they could.
They got the band back together. So
I literally and figuratively and literally, yeah.
The band's back together.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was probably my poor impression too. So anyway, check those guys out. Check out all of Gus's stuff. Gruesome's a pretty decent band too, man. You go check those guys out. They're good stuff. They got they got a lot of albums out for that band. So
yeah,
I think that's probably one of his mainstay bands. But
yeah, if you're gonna just go ahead and check out stuff that Gus Rios has done, you better clear some.
Some time.
You better clear some space on your calendar. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like I said, like the projects that you mentioned, was it 11 that's active?
Yeah, he's got Cold Slither, Create a Kill, Eternal, Gruesome, Kill Division, Left to Die, Living Monstrosity, Meat Flag, The Devil Amidst, Union Black, and Upon Infliction.
Man, that's crazy.
Of course, the funny thing is 1, 2, 3, well, 4 of them. 4 of the projects that he's listed as currently being active. Oh. I was going to say 4 of the projects that he's listed as being in don't have anything, as far as any albums released. But there is a note here that Left to Die and Living Monstrosity, those two bands that he's in, they're both tribute bands to the band Death.
Ah, got you.
Yeah.
That makes sense, I guess.
It does make sense.
And then he's got 1, 2, 3, 4,
Union
5,
Black,
7 past bands that he was involved in. So I mean, there's
I know.
There's plenty of Gus Rios's music available out there for you. That's for sure. So,
oh God, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I mean,
it's pretty amazing that he lives in Florida and he's born in Venezuela. That's pretty cool. So
yeah. And the funny thing is he at some point he mentioned, he's like, I don't know how old you guys are. He's between the 3 of us, he's actually the youngest.
I know, right?
I'm just now realizing that. He's like, I was like, holy shit, man. So yeah, he's the youngest of the 3 of us that were in the interview today. So
yeah. I'm almost at the age where I get grandfathered into everything. So
well, literally speaking of getting grandfathered in, congratulations!
Oh, that is true.
Congratulations on the new edition.
Yeah, we didn't get to talk much about.
Congratulations! Congratulations on that.
Yeah, we did have a new grandchild born on Thursday.
Yeah,
James Tyler, I think is what they named him. So
yeah.
So yeah, another JT. So,
that's right.
So there's the 3rd generation of JTs.
Hell yeah, dude.
So,
that's right.
Wrestling world beware.
Yep, another metalhead in the making. So
hopefully, yeah. His dad's a little bit all over the place. So he does like metal, but he's kind of all over the place with his stuff. So
well, I mean,
there's nothing wrong with that. I mean,
no.
I just it's so crazy how I used to be like that, and then now I'm just like the old, get off my lawn type guy. That's just straight metal. I don't want to listen to nothing else.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think it's because it kind of became, with us doing this, it kind of became all we listen to anyway. So it's kind of like I don't really, venture out. I probably should sometimes, but I don't. So. Really, because most of the music that you hear now is trash anyway. It's just like there's nothing.
Well, Yeah.
You know,
The funny thing is like, you know, that's all that when I am by myself, I listen to nothing else.
right?
Now, you know Angela. Angela listens to a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
She'll listen to metal with me. She'll listen to, but I mean, she'll listen to Anthrax and then Andrea Bocelli. So she listens to a little bit of everything. She'll listen to opera. She'll listen to country. You know, so when I'm with her in her car, her car, her rules. It is what it is.
Right.
So I mean, if I'm listening to something else, it's because I'm not by myself.
Mhm.
But I'm 100% metalhead when I'm by myself. When I have all the power, there's nothing but I'm listening. I'm not listening to anything but
It's
metal.
like, as Dean Winchester said, driver picks the music, pastor shuts his pie hole.
That's right. That's right.
Uh,
Yeah, that's 100% right. So,
oh man.
but like if I had to choose something to listen to outside of heavy metal, I would probably just listen to just 80s music.
Yeah. Right.
Because that was the decade of my formative years, so there was a lot of stuff that I listened to, whether it be on like the radio or whatever. Like, I like my aunt, one of my aunts, I mean, she used to love Wham and Duran Duran.
Okay.
So I mean, I can listen to Wham and Duran Duran because I mean that was kind of part of my childhood, thanks
Right.
to my aunt. So if I had to listen to something besides metal, it probably wouldn't be anything new from now because, like you say, it's all fucking garbage by and large.
Well, I mean, like I said, even hip hop back when we grew up was a lot better than it is now.
Oh, I mean,
10 times better.
Oh God,
and it's like you look at this stuff, and even if you go back and look at it then, when you go back and look at who wrote the music, if you take an NWA record or whatever, and you look at who wrote the music, it was Eazy-E and Ice Cube,
Dre, So
I mean, it wasn't like it is now, where 12 people's writing a damn hit for Beyonce or Taylor Swift or something.
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
fucking ridiculous, man. If okay, I'm talented enough to play, but I can't write. What the fuck? That's what you're telling me, basically.
That's actually right. I mean, like the rap from back in my like the hip hop and shit back from my skating rink days.
Mm-hmm.
Like 3-6 Mafia.
Yeah.
West Side.
Too Short.
Yeah. Tupac and all that stuff. Bone Thugs and Harmony. I could probably definitely still listen to that now.
Well, Susie has her playlist mixed up like that. Well, she has different ones. She has she has a heavy metal playlist, and then she has a playlist with kind of stuff she grew up on. It goes from anywhere from Cyndi Lauper to, like you said, Bone Thugs and Harmony to, Def Leppard, or it's got everything.
Yeah.
It's got everything in there because that's what she grew up on.
Which
is fine. And I don't, if she puts it on and I'm like, we're driving or something, honestly, it takes me a minute to even realize what I'm like, oh shit, I didn't even realize you changed it. It's like, because I mean, most of the time when I'm driving, especially if I'm in new places, I'm usually just sightseeing
exactly.
So I'm trying to like checking out the landscape and stuff like that.
Sure.
So it's kind of a,
I do the same thing. I have a hard time. Here's the fucked up thing is if I'm driving, like if we're going from here to Michigan, if I don't get enough sleep and I'm driving, if I focus on the road too long, I'll feel myself start to get drowsy.
Well, it's called road hypnosis. Yeah,
it is. But here's the fucked up thing. If I get tired, which doesn't happen to me often, thankfully, but if I do get tired, and I switch seats and I get in the passenger seat and I try to lay back and go to sleep,
you can't sleep.
I can't do it because I'm like, even if it's
I do that all the time, dude.
Like I say, I've been living down here. I've driven from here back home dozens of times. I basically know where everything's at. I've seen it. But if I'm in the passenger seat and I can take my time to look around and see what's what, I'm wide awake.
Yeah.
I'm fucking wide awake.
Yeah. Well, because things change too. The scenery changes all the time.
It does. Yeah, it does. But yeah, it's like I say, a trip I've made dozens of times. But if I'm listening, to anything outside of heavy metal, I want it to be older.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I want it to be older.
Yeah. I don't care for too much. Like I've heard some new stuff. Somebody sent me something in my inbox the other day, and it said, and he was just like, "Hey, check this out! I helped produce this song." I'm like, "All right, I'll check it out or whatever." So I was listening to it, and it was a country song. And I messaged him back and said, "Dude, honestly, I'm a huge metalhead, and I'm, probably not the person to ask about a country song." I said, "But I'll tell you this." It was country. It wasn't like some of the bullshit you hear on the radio now.
Right.
So I guess you have
Yeah.
that going for you.
Right.
But I was being honest with him, and I gave him my honest opinion, and I appreciate him reaching out and getting some feedback from a different ear.
A different perspective, sure.
Yeah, and I mean it's like I listen to it and I'm like, it's not for me, but
Right.
it's definitely country though. It's definitely like kind of the country that I kind of grew up listening to.
And see, the funny thing is like I say, with Angela listening to the amount of different stuff that she does, if I have to listen to country, I want it to be full-fledged country. I don't want any of this crossover fucking. I don't want any of that shit. I want if I have to listen to it, I want it to be the honest to God classic stuff. Yeah, so then again, if I'm listening to anything outside of heavy metal, I want it to be older because it was more true to the genre back then.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. All of us became like it's not country, so it's almost like, hey, you're gonna listen to this country star, and you listen to it, and I said, dude, that's pop. That's not even country.
Right?
It's like,
and if you're a country,
and honestly, that's Taylor Swift, I despise anything she does, but give her props. She did just change her genre altogether because she knew it wasn't country. She just like, I'm going pop. So, she went pop. So, I mean, that's kind of, kudos for her for recognizing and doing that. But most people are still stuck in the country and singing pop. So, I'm a country artist. No, you're not.
No, you aren't. It's like even I know you're not a country artist.
Exactly. We don't even listen.
Yeah, it's like no, you can't even fucking slip that one past me. So it's bad if that's the case.
No. So anyway, I guess we can swing back in a little bit. I guess like the big topic of the week is who broke up,
I mean,
or who got ousted or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
But I see a lot of bands were, I guess what was it, Foo Fighters and
Nine Inch Nails.
Just swapped drummers.
Basically traded drummers, and then Jason Richardson and All That Remains they split up, which sucks because we got to talk.
That one actually surprised me. So
we got to talk to Jason, not this past Rockin' Pod, but
no, that was Matt we talked with.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh shit! I'm sorry. Same band, wrong guy. Yeah, sorry.
There you go. It was basis. The basis.
That's right. Yeah. Oh, fuck it. God damn it. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. But and then of course, Paul Mario Day, the original lead singer of Iron Maiden, passed away. So
man,
here lately, just
losing people like flies,
we just can't get past it, So and then George, and then not to be left out. Of course, we try not to leave anybody out, but something that happened, last week. George, and I don't know how you say his last name, and I feel bad, but George Queemans from Diamond Earring, he passed away at 77. That was one that I think that you may have posted from. Don't even let me talk about a band today. Yeah, Golden Earring, not Diamond Earring. Jesus Christ. Which is messed up because Twilight Zone is actually one of my favorite fucking rock songs from the 80s, and I just butchered the name of the band. Golden Earring, not Diamond Earring.
And man, if you haven't heard Bloody Hammer's version of that song, dude.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, it is very good.
Yeah, so good.
Covers are hard to do a lot of times, and to make it your own and kind of keep the original sound at the same time is really hard to do. So,
well, speaking of covers and speaking of Ozzy Osbourne, what was the cover that Burning Witches did? Was it Shot in the Dark?
I can't remember. I got Spotify.
I think it was either Shot in the Dark. I think it may have been Shot in the Dark because I know that Shadows Fall did Bark at the Moon.
Yeah, Shot in the Dark. Yeah, they did Shot in the Dark.
Yeah, because Shadows Fall actually covered Bark at the Moon, and they actually did a video cover for that too. Mm-hmm. And Burning Witches did a fantastic job with their cover.
they've done a few covers. They did Holy Diver at one point
Yeah,
too.
they did too. They did a good job with that one. They didn't do Kill Switch Engage good, but they still did a good job.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of like Non-Point's cover of In the Air Tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Kill Switch Engage's cover of Holy Diver is the Non-Point cover of In the Air Tonight. Good luck topping that cover. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. It's I mean, and honestly, like Non-Point has that niche of being able to produce some great covers. Like I don't think I've ever heard a cover of theirs that I'm just like, wow, they probably shouldn't have done that one, But so I mean, even and I think they kind of like they really just don't pull it off of rock genres either. They they've done a Prince song, they've done all kind of different stuff. So it's kind of and like I've heard a lot of people try to do In the Air Tonight, and like I'm just like, nah, man, I don't know. It's like,
that's the funny thing.
I think Non-Point has y'all beats.
Well, and that's
we could probably agree on In This Moment's probably the worst one.
Oh, it's not good. It's not good. And we hate to say that because we like In This Moment.
Yeah.
And In This Moment did a great job with Call Me by Blondie.
That's the only thing they've ever done cover wise.
Yeah, because I don't like their version of In the Air Tonight, and I don't like that little collaboration that they did with We Will Rock You. I think that's awful.
Right.
I don't.
What was that other one too? There was one song that they did. Was it Fly Like an Eagle?
Yes, that wasn't good either.
Well, I didn't like the original, but
well, that's true. But I also didn't like Sail by Muse, and Devil Driver did a fucking great cover of that.
That is true.
So the original doesn't have to be a good song for a heavy metal band to do a good cover of it. One does not have it. They're not mutually exclusive. So.
And if we talk about that, you talk about how Nine Inch Nails praised Johnny Cash for doing Hurt because Trent Reznor said, hell, I think it was better than what we did.
I was about to say I'd actually rather listen to Johnny Cash's version.
I mean, Trent said that. He said, man,
Yeah. I've never been a Nine Inch Nails fan, but in a vacuum, but I mean, I'm still trying to, but I'd still rather listen to Johnny Cash's version of Hurt. So.
Oh, I'm Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Man in Black.
Yep.
But he had a lot of different stuff going on.
Morning, Amy.
Hey, good morning, Amy.
Aloha.
Yeah, aloha. Hopefully,
mahalo for joining us.
Yeah. Hopefully, all is well out in your neck of the woods. I know there was some tsunami concerns out that way at some point.
Yeah.
So hopefully that has been avoided.
Yeah.
You guys are doing well out there. So
I think some parts of the Pacific were touch and go for a little bit there. So
yeah, I mean they were talking about it pretty heavy on Thursday, and I'm like, wow, man, this isn't going to be good, And then of course everybody's got to make their AI videos about how look at the waves. Like, bitch, ain't even real.
Yeah,
it is amazing how many people like actually can't point out a damn fake video from a real video. It's just, I think the only person that can pull that off with making things look so real is the Bigfoot guy. Like his AI stuff is amazing. Like Jesus Christ, man! Like how, dude? Like it's so like perfect.
Yeah, it's crazy. It is crazy.
But anyway, so, I don't know if you've seen that. Mayhem's making a new record, so that's
good.
Look forward to there, I guess. So.
That's good. Probably, I mean, you were talking August, probably a 2026 release.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But that's fine. That's totally
I think, no major tsunami issues, just some excitement. Yeah, there you go. Everybody blowing it out of proportion, I guess.
Good.
Yeah. So.
Good. That's good.
You shared that one about Chris Beatty suing Hatebreed. That's going to be an interesting situation.
I think that one's just starting to heat up. I think that one is far from over, and I definitely don't think we've heard the last of the volleys between those two parties.
Oh yeah, Jamie's not going to let that slide.
Hell no, he's not.
he's going to fight that shit tooth and nail. I'm sure.
God, yeah. Well, Jamie, now is the time for you to rise to your feet.
That's right. There you go. Yeah. That's Doom Legends warning signed to Relapse Records. That's
that's awesome.
Pretty big news.
First new album in 2 decades. That's awesome.
And of course, surprisingly, Ozzy Osbourne's music surged on billboards. Imagine that.
Yeah.
So
You know what though?
it always goes back to me. I always hear that you're worth more alive than dead, or worth more dead
More
than
dead than
alive.
alive. Yeah,
So and then you see that stuff, you're like, yeah, probably so.
100% true. Yeah.
I worry. I kind of, I hate to say this, especially live on air, but I just don't see Sharon making it long, dude. She's man. I watched some of that stuff from the funeral, dude, and I'm just like, man, she is so distraught, and understandably so. Don't get me wrong,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, most of the time when you've been together that long, it just doesn't. It's just,
I know.
it's just history. I mean, like if you go back in history and look at stuff like that, they don't last long
Yeah.
without their significant other, especially
Yeah. Well, and I kind of, obviously everybody knows what I've been going through the last month and a half, and everything.
Exactly.
So that's actually kind of in the back of my head too. That very same thing.
Yeah. Well, let's hope not. I mean,
No. I mean,
true.
and I mean, we're not wishing it on anybody. It's definitely not a goal, but you're right. I mean, she just.
Yeah.
I mean, that's her. I mean, God. I mean, they've been together
43 years or
something.
something.
Yes,
something like that.
a long ass time.
Yeah, and I agree, Amy. She did. She looked horrible, man. Like she hadn't ate. Yeah, skinny, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's, and basically probably because she's worrying herself to death with, over Ozzy.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the things that the show is something that people can say what they want, but she did not want him to do that show. I mean, she didn't want him to do it. He wanted to do it, and she made it happen. So I mean, because she knew if Ozzy, she knows her husband. If he's got his mindset, he's going to do it with or without her. I mean, he's like, well, I'll just find somebody else to put the motherfucker on. So, so yeah. And I mean, she does what she's always done and backed his. She backed his play. I mean, that's kind of what you do as a married couple.
And
just play. So,
and and that's the funny thing is, I mean, Sharon's been his manager.
Mm-hmm. Before they ever got together. So,
I mean, basically, as long as they've been together, she's been his manager.
Mm-hmm.
And I know she's gotten a lot of shit over the years. Some of it warranted, I'm sure. Some of it not warranted, I'm sure. But that's the thing is, I mean, and a lot of people were, especially, the last decade or so, the prevailing thought was like, oh, she's just wheeling Ozzy out for another cash grab. They have not been hurting for money for a long time.
Right. And plus they donated all that money. So it's kind of like they need to keep it. So.
Right. That's the thing is, I mean, they could have, with the career that Ozzy had, I mean, they could have lived off royalties.
Mm-hmm.
They could have lived off royalties, so, I mean, say what you want about Sharon. And of course I have no proof of this. But Sharon was doing for Ozzy what Ozzy wanted to do. Like you just said, Ozzy had been trying to get back up on stage for the past 5 years, trying to say goodbye to all of us.
Right.
He wanted to go out on his own terms.
I go back to when we said we had tickets to go see that one show.
Yeah.
To reimburse us because it was a him and Priest at that time, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. So we were going to go, and then of course he got set back from a surgery, so we didn't get to go, and then they was going to put it off to the next year, and that didn't happen.
He just never recovered.
He didn't. Yeah, it was just. I mean, he was probably too little, too late. Unfortunately, from oh man.
Yeah, so he's been like I say, for the past 5 years or so, he had been trying to get up on stage and say goodbye to all of us. He wanted his closure because there's not a lot of there's not a lot of people in general who get to go out on their own terms, let alone, athletes and, artists and all this other stuff. A lot of people don't get to go out on their own terms.
Yeah, I was trying to.
The Osbournes Want to Believe. Oh, I haven't seen that show. Yeah, I know what show you're talking about, Amy. I haven't seen it. I know of it. I haven't seen it, but so I'm glad Ozzy's music has gotten that much attention in the past week and a half and stuff. Of course, a lot of it has been from me and you, and Kayla. I know Kayla's been listening to a lot of Ozzy and Black Sabbath, and we all have, and it's good because I mean even at this point, it means money for his estate. And like while Sharon doesn't need it, and I'm sure Kelly and Jack don't need it, Ozzy's got multiple grandkids.
Yeah.
So I mean, that stuff will filter down to them too. So if Ozzy's estate is getting a little bit of a financial bump from this, then that's fine. I'm fine with that.
Well, I mean, so this is the thing to me. I think this is kind of I don't want to say it's a good thing that he passed away, but it is an eye-opening thing that he passed away, because I don't think people realized how much of an influence he was on England in general until you see, like, you had Prince Charles and stuff up here. I mean, who knows if Prince Charles is a metalhead, but I mean, he's talking about, he's out here praising Ozzy for all his work and all his, all this stuff. And I'm just like, man, he was a pillar of music in general in England. Yeah. Like, it doesn't matter if you were a metalhead or not, you knew who the fuck Ozzy was. It's kind of, it's just, it's one of those things. I mean, just like if, some country singer died that we grew up with, we'd know who they were, even though we don't listen to them.
Right. I mean? So, well, that's why people on Facebook, when Ozzy died and then Hulk Hogan died, people were like, oh my God, put bubble wrap around Dolly Parton and Willie Nelson. I mean, shit like that.
Right.
Yeah. But, it's like we've talked about on the show before. We were talking about it with Timon. Last week we were talking about it, and we've brought it up multiple times on the show about how worldwide heavy metal is. If it weren't for, England, Maiden, Priest, Black Sabbath, right there, boom. Yeah. I mean, where the hell are we with heavy metal without England or the UK, however they want to be referred to now? But this is what it is. Speaking of Judas Priest, I actually started reading Rob Halford's. I've actually started reading Rob Halford's autobiography. I'm actually up to the point where his sister actually convinced him to talk to Ian Hill to join Judas Priest. That's where I'm at in the book.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's a good book so far. But yeah, without Maiden, Priest, and Black Sabbath, who the hell knows?
That the one that I gave you for?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha. For something, I don't remember. We buy each other stuff all the time. So
yeah, I know we do.
What is what was for? Yeah. Birthday, Christmas, it was something.
Yeah. I saw it. Well, you would think, especially since the Beatles were also from England, and then like the Beatles were also, and Ozzy's mentioned this many times. The Beatles were kind of Ozzy's musical kind of awakening.
Yeah.
He said that many times, talking about how much of an influence the Beatles were on him.
Yeah. Well, like you said, everything has a blueprint to start somewhere.
Sure.
And I don't know if you've seen that video, and I'm not sure how true it is, but that was pretty freaking interesting about how Tony Iommi, kind of lost the tips of two of his fingers.
Oh yeah.
And that's why he played Doomby like that, because he couldn't hit the stuff that he wanted to do, because he was playing Beatles and type stuff and everything at the beginning, whatever was going on there.
Yeah. Well, and the funny thing is like the two fingers that he lost, he's been playing with these little prosthetic fingers.
Yeah, plastic tips. Yeah.
For decades.
But and he never knew that. I never knew that, dude.
He lost it. Yeah,
he's crazy.
He was working at a industrial press. Mm-hmm. And definitely before OSHA. Of course, OSHA's OSHA's a United States thing, but but still, back in the 60s, way back then, everywhere. I mean, safety was wasn't on the forefront.
Let me see if I can find that.
But yeah, he lost a couple fingertips in an industrial press. So
I'm gonna try to see if I can find that and play it, because that's a pretty interesting thing, I think. So.
Oh yeah. But yeah, Ozzy actually mentioned it in his autobiography, which I have that too. If you ever want to read it, by the way, I'll let you borrow it. It's actually a good read. But I have Ozzy's and I have Dave Mustaine's. They're both good reads. So
I was trying to find that one where that dude somebody put it on our page, didn't he?
Maybe
in the group, I think. So let's see.
Yeah, the world was black and white after World War II, and then the Beatles and the world. That's exactly what he said. Yep. We knew. No, I knew. We knew.
Yeah, actually,
yeah,
actually,
we knew
actually,
what you meant, Amy.
actually, Amy's the one that posted that. So yeah, interesting.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Because she just posted that recently. Because I remember she put the caption on there said, "I did not know that." Yeah, that's right. It was her. Yep.
Yeah,
So shout out to Amy for that. We appreciate it.
yeah. So let me share this on here, and we'll play that real quick. Because
You better watch it live now because I'm sure it's going to get muted.
Oh God, you know it is. You know it is. Oh, wait a minute. Where'd it go? Oh, right there. Let's see if I can get it. There we go.
In the 1960s, there was a teenager named Tony Iommi, and for many of you, you'll immediately recognize who that is, but for the rest of you, let's just let it be a surprise. He learned to play guitar and was in a bunch of local bands, playing music very similar to the current popular English rock music of the time, like The Who, the Rolling Stones, the Kinks. But Iommi was also working in a local metal factory to help support his family and pay for music gear and stuff. At a certain point, he decided that he wanted to pursue music full time, so he decided to quit his metalworking job. So it's 1965 and Iommi is 17 years old, and tomorrow is the last day of his job. His 2 weeks notice is almost up, but something in his gut tells him that he shouldn't go tomorrow. And he goes and he tells his mom, "I'm not going to work tomorrow. Today was my last day." But his mom says, "Nope, you can't do that. You got to honor your promise and go work your final day of work." But for some reason, they choose on this day to stick him on a machine that he has no experience with. He's never used it before, and he doesn't even know how it works. So he starts trying to use this machine that involves a hydraulic press coming down and cutting metal. And at one point, he sticks his hand too far into the machine, and the hydraulic press comes down and cuts off the tips of his middle and ring finger. So they collect the severed fingertips in a matchbox and rush Iommi to the hospital. But unfortunately, the doctors tell him that they can't reattach the fingertips, and he's never going to play guitar again. So Iommi is really depressed. But then he learns one thing, and it's that one of his favorite guitar players of all time, Django Reinhardt, also had an injury where he lost 2 of his fingers, which inspires Iommi to overcome the odds and play guitar again. So Iommi creates his own homemade prosthetic fingertips by melting down plastic and forming it to the ends of his fingers, and starts to relearn playing guitar that way. But despite his new inventions, it's extremely difficult to play, and as a result, Iommi has to use lighter gauge guitar strings and tune them down lower so there's less tension on the strings, and play a lot slower than he was used to. So now that Iommi's playing again, he goes out and he reconnects with some old friends and forms a new band that was originally called Earth, but eventually gets retitled as Black Sabbath. And Earth/Black Sabbath wants to be a rock band, but because of the way that Iommi has to play with the lighter gauge strings, the down tuning, the slower playing, the guitar sound of the band is much darker and heavier and slower and gritty and aggressive. And because of this, the sound of Black Sabbath is unlike anything that had ever come before it. There are a couple songs that predate Black Sabbath that are somewhat credited with helping to shape the early sound of heavy metal, like Helter Skelter by the Beatles, Dazed and Confused by Led Zeppelin, In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida by Iron Butterfly, You Really Got Me by the Kinks. But the first debut album by Black Sabbath is credited as the first heavy metal album that ever existed, and certainly set the tone for the sound and the feel of what heavy metal is in a modern context. So the next time that somebody tells you can't do anything, just think of Tony Iommi. How many people know?
Yeah. I mean that is good advice, but but that shit also sounds like an employer at the times, like, well, you're going to quit, so we're going to fuck you over and put you on this machine.
Exactly. Yeah.
That sounded so goddamn petty. But again, well, like we've talked about with Black Sabbath before, they're given credit as the inventors of heavy metal, and I still think it's accurate. But like he said, there were other songs by maybe previous bands that kind of maybe set wheels in motion.
Oh yeah.
I'm not arguing that. I'm not arguing that. I'm not saying that there was no heavy metal at all before Black Sabbath came along. I'm not saying that at all. But when that album came out, just like he said, when that album came out, that album was the true genesis of heavy metal as we know it, which is also what he just said, and I agree with him 100%.
But just think about if that accident didn't happen. What the sound would have been totally different.
Yeah,
like, we wouldn't even be talking about we may not even be talking about how iconic Black Sabbath was, because they may have sounded like the Kinks or
right.
Beatles or anybody else at that
well,
point. So,
well, the funny thing is they may have never even changed their name to Black Sabbath.
that's true. That's true.
They may not have even ever changed their name.
We'd just be talking about Earth.
Earth. Yeah.
And we'd be like, Ozzy Osbourne of Earth passed away. And, yeah.
We'd be like, oh,
it wouldn't be as big of
a.
It may not be as big of a deal. So I mean,
No.
Accidents happen in life for a reason sometimes. So it's like, kind of a.
Or what if he wouldn't have heard about that other guitar player and said, "Fuck it, I give up."
Yeah, exactly, and then never played at all. Like,
yeah. So. I mean, what ifs galore. What if Randy Rhoads never got on that, decided to go on that little airplane joyride in 1982.
We did that one. I think we've done some what ifs on this show before, but
we've done a few. We haven't done one in a long time, but yeah, we've done a couple of. We did the Randy Rhoads one, we did the Cliff Burton one, and
I think we did Dimebag.
Dimebag, yeah, I think those are the three we did. It's been a while since we've done one, but.
Yeah, I probably should try to look into doing that again. Once we get interviews out of the way and all that stuff. So we don't have anything scheduled for next week yet, but we do have one scheduled for my birthday. So
yeah, that's true.
So
of course, the funny thing is, and of course, I won't say any names because we don't know, but. In the email chain where we got Cold Slither set up, Curtis has got a couple of pretty.
Oh yeah,
he's got a couple of pretty hot irons in the fire.
Couple heavy hitters.
Holy shit! Well, and
Chris may pass out if we get one of them. So
yeah,
get a smelling.
Well, here's the funny thing: is Curtis has got a couple of pretty big lines in the water, and so does Olivia. Yeah. Olivia is working on a big one for us too. Yeah. So I mean, if some of these,
we had a pretty big one come up, but man, I just don't. We'll have to talk it over. So, but I don't see us being able to do it on the dates that they gave us. But
I don't see how. Like I said,
not in that time frame. I mean, if there was a different time frame they could give us, then maybe
Yeah.
But
I mean, that's a little
bit. That's a little bit. For one, it'd be a little late for you the way they want to do it, and for two, it may be not enough time for them if we backed it up. So I don't know. Like I said, it's going to be we're going to have to compromise somewhere to make that one happen. I think, but it still would be cool to nail that one down too.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. We just do the best we can. That's all we can do.
Yeah.
So. We try to do the best we can and put in the best content we can in front of people. So
that's true.
We're like I said, we're guys that have to work 40-hour week jobs too, so we have to work around our schedule as well as theirs. So it's difficult sometimes. So
yeah, but the cool thing is I mean we've still everyone we've talked to has been amazing, and the fact that we're still getting to talk to some of these people, and the fact that the connections that we have made are starting to kind of, you know what I mean? I mean,
yeah.
Who knows? I mean, who knows?
Which we're not going to shy away from what we started this for. Don't get me wrong.
No, absolutely not.
But I mean, if you get a chance to interview some of your idols in music, you have to. You guys have to do it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like one of those things where, oh my God, yes, we have to do that. Just like Onslaught, everybody knows the story of Onslaught in this podcast. So when we got that put in front of us, I'm like, dude, we absolutely, we have to make this happen.
We couldn't say yes fast enough.
Exactly. I mean, because it was, like I said, it's a relationship that they didn't even know they had with us. It's kind of thing, and when we told him the story, he's like, wow, that's cool because, so now he knows he was an inspiration for a podcast. I mean, the band was the inspiration for this, and the rest is kind of history. But
so I mean, some of the bands that we potentially have coming up for interviews. I mean,
and of course we haven't I guess this is different too because I had somebody say, well, hey, y'all interviewed so and so at Rockin' Pod. I'm like, yeah, but that was like 15 minutes. It's not like. sitting down and talking an hour or two with somebody. You know what I mean? Like when you're sitting down and you're digging deep with somebody instead of having to like rush through something for 15 minutes. That's a big difference, man.
Yeah.
People don't realize that, but it's a pretty big difference. So
because that's the thing is we just talked to Gus. We only got to talk to him for 40 minutes. It seemed like we barely talked about anything.
Oh, I know, and like, we definitely could have
And hell, we talked to Christopher Williams from Accept about cartoons.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
which to me is still a fantastic story. I love that. I love that we're going to have that story forever. The two of us are going to have that story. Yeah, we talked to the drummer from Accept about South Park and Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah. So
I love it. I do. I love it.
It's like our Facebook feed may have. I wonder if it was because I played that.
Probably.
Idiots.
Yeah, probably.
Let me go back. Make sure we're.
I mean, it looks like it's going.
Is it okay?
It looks like it's going. Yeah. And let's see.
Well, it may have been on the page or something.
And we're still live on Twitter, so I mean, or on X or whatever. So I mean,
yeah, it was on the page, so it's all right as long as it's still growing on a group. Who gives a shit? So.
Yeah, so
it's going somewhere. So.
It's still going on YouTube too. So
okay, gotcha.
I mean, I'm assuming it is. I don't see why it wouldn't be, but
oh no, it did end on the group too. Huh, interesting. Wonder why I did that.
Yeah, I mean, we're still showing live on YouTube.
Oh yeah, we're still on YouTube and Twitch and X and everything. So yeah, it doesn't matter. The interview got on there, so that's the main thing.
Right.
So you just hearing us bullshit. You can do that anytime. So
yes, you can. Well, but again, though, I mean, we're still talking about heavy metal. And we're still keeping it casual, even though it's just the two of us. I mean, you know, just because it's the two of us and we're not in the midst of an interview right now, doesn't mean we still can't, you know, just have a casual conversation about heavy metal. I mean, everybody who watches us knows, you know, what we're about at this point. So,
well, I would hope so.
I would hope so. Yeah, I would hope so.
Yeah. I mean, unless they're new. I mean, we have we kind of beefed up our numbers on the group page this week. So
yes, we have.
That's always a good thing. So
we've actually had a little bit of a bump on TikTok too over the past week and a half.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah. I've even noticed. I noticed we kind of picking up some steam even on Spotify, and that's kind of the ones that we post stuff there. But like, I understand that 100%. Though I mean, people usually listening to stuff on there. I'm not sure how many people listen to podcasts on there, but maybe.
I mean, as far as Spotify goes, we're a tadpole in the ocean. Jeez.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
So, I mean, yeah.
Well, that's one of the things. Like I was just talking about this with a wrestling friend of mine the other day on Facebook, and he was talking about how he said, "Oh, I got out of the business and was going to do this podcast thing," and he said, "I still am not doing one about wrestling." and I said, it's funny because when I started doing this, somebody asked me, said, "Well, why don't you do one about wrestling? You know all these guys," and I'm like, yeah, but if you look at it, wrestling podcasts are oversaturated,
Mm-hmm.
And even now, the thing that pisses me off more than anything is WWE's having their superstars do them. And I said, man, that's bullshit because that's taking away from these people that are trying to do something, and make a living podcasting with wrestling. You're taking away from them now. Well, if you wanted to help somebody, you should have put them guys on their fucking show.
Yeah. That's kind of like when Metallica started their podcast. I'm like, God, really?
Yeah, it's like I get it.
Why does Metallica need a podcast?
Yeah. So to me, I think if you want to do things like that, you should get a couple of guys together that you've toured with, go out and do a tour, kind of like Mick Foley and Undertaker does, where they do their little, tours around the comedy clubs and talk about stories, stuff like that. Don't just create a damn podcast, man. Like, if you want to make some money, go do that bullshit.
Yeah,
man.
which I'm still.
Y'all got names. Y'all are gonna draw. I mean, hell, we're just like you said, a couple of little fish in a big pond, and
massively big pond. Yeah.
And that's the reason why we do what we do is because there's not many people doing what we do. We found
not in the format we're doing it. Yeah,
we found a niche that needed filling, and that's kind of what we're doing. So
yeah. Oh, you find me a hole, I'm going to fill it.
That's right.
Ah.
Uh,
But I'm actually still kicking myself for not going to Zany's to see Mick Foley that last time he came through.
oh, it was so good, dude.
Hopefully he'll do that again at some point. 'Cause
Yeah,
I'm kicking myself for not going to.
Well, if Undertaker comes and I don't take the missus, she'll probably divorce me. But
Yeah, she'll give you the last ride.
yeah.
Yeah.
Pun intended. Pun
Yeah.
intended.
Pun 100% intended.
Anyway, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the little interview there with Gus. There's a lot more we could have dug into. Maybe we can get something else set up and kind of dig a little deeper at some point. But
well, I mean, the next time we'll talk more about actually about Gus Rios's career instead of the
I was kind of like touching on what was more recent. So
absolutely,
kind of what we try to do here is push the more recent stuff, and for it to be such a creative project too, I think it needed more eyes on it. So
yeah, and it definitely at this point needs more ears on it. So definitely go check it out,
even if they're snake eyes.
Yes. Yes. Fuck yeah. God.
Dude, they just keep on coming.
They do. Just yes.
No roadblocks here.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah, we could do this all day probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, it's pretty cool to hear. What we did hear about it was pretty interesting, I think. So.
100%.
Especially because if without talking to him, I would have never knew Hasbro had any hands in it at all. So
right, and see that, but that is also another great thing is the fact that the creators of the whole thing were 100% behind
on board with it. Yeah,
on board, gave their blessing, and then just let him do his thing.
Yeah, just kind of signed off on everything
instead of just be like,
yeah. No, you can't do
just
that.
Hovering over him the whole time. They're just like, yeah, man, have at it. Just let us know what you got. Mm-hmm. We'll take a listen to it, and But
which is so to me, it's kind of crazy. He brought up something and it hit me, and of course I didn't bring it up because it's not really super related. But he was talking about how they're not going to let me cut somebody's head off and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, but they had fucking horror movies out at the time that did that shit. What the hell does it matter?
Well, they did. I mean, you had the Nightmare on Elm Street movies and shit like that. But
if you're writing a song about something like that, the chances of a kid hearing that is about as good as him watching Friday the 13th.
Well, that's true, but you also have to remember you have to remember the time, because in the mid '80s, they had a lot of shooting in that show.
Oh, well, that's
just talking about G.I. Joe. Did you ever see? Of course, you're talking about G.I. Joe.
Nobody ever got hit.
Yeah, nobody ever got hit. Same thing in the A-Team. I used to love watching the A-Team. Mm. There was gunplay in every episode of the A-Team. No one ever took a bullet.
I thought B.A. got shot one time.
Maybe he got winged, but in those firefights with the bad guys, no one ever died from the gunplay. Ever.
Which is crazy.
It is crazy. Nobody ever. So there was gunplay and there was implied violence, but
right. Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, it's weird.
That's true. Now it's like nothing to see somebody. Oh man, look, he got shot on TV. Nobody even blinks at it.
Yeah.
Or they actually, used to, they wouldn't show partial nudity or anything on primetime TV, And then I don't remember, I was watching some show, and then my grandma was watching it, and she was like, "Oh my God, they showed his ass." I was like, yeah, they did. So,
well, you remember? You remember it? I don't remember what year it was. I think it was in the '90s. But you remember NYPD Blue? You remember that show?
Yeah.
The first time, I think the first time they even had to, the first time that they said shit on network TV, and I think they had to advertise that it was coming, so everyone knew it was going to happen. That way, it wouldn't upset anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Get the fuck out of here! Come on, man.
Well, that's why you have all the warning labels. That's why we have to put a warning label on our show saying there's explicit language sometimes. Yeah. So it's not all the time, but most of the time we get fired up over something. There's definitely explicit language. So, especially me. I was going to tell you, I get fired up over something. I'm not even thinking. I'm just
Yeah.
blurting out stuff.
Honestly, I think for a couple of metalheads, we actually do a pretty decent job keeping the swearing down. Now, don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
Neither one of us has a problem with swearing. I mean, I don't have a problem with swear words. I think people who clutch their pearls over swear words, I think they're just, I think they've lived a little bit of a sheltered life. If you don't want to say them, fine. If you don't want to swear, that's up to you. But I mean,
we'll keep this topic going in 2 weeks. How about that? Because I do believe our guest will be the first Christian metal band we've had on the show. So, so it's definitely one of the. It's actually one of the reasons I wanted to land it, because I kind of want to see the differences.
Yeah,
I want to know if they're treated any different, or because of what they're what they do. Or, Speaking of which, Striper had a new song out this week. I don't know if you've heard that or not.
They did, and I have not. I was actually spending, because of course everybody out there saw that yesterday I actually posted my album review.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right?
I was like, wow, what's this? I was like, what's this?
I know.
Trying to make me look bad over here.
Well, it's funny what you can accomplish when the wife isn't home.
Well, that's true.
You know what I mean? So, not that I want my wife out of the house, but I woke up yesterday afternoon, and my wife wasn't home, and she texted me, and she's like, I'm out with a couple of friends. And I was like, okay, cool. So I came in here, and I sat down, I was on YouTube, and I was actually getting caught up on some of the new release videos, and Striper was one of the ones I actually hadn't got to yet. So I'm planning on doing that. But the night before,
definitely Striper, but
but the night before, meaning Thursday night, I was listening to that album that I reviewed, because, I work nights. So thankfully now I'm able to catch these albums not long after they come out. So the funny thing is that actually the album the Terror Dome, I'll just say it because it's out there now. It's out there now. The Terror Dome album actually wasn't the one I was initially going to listen to. And now that I'm talking about, I can't even remember what one I was going to listen to. But I was looking at the list and I was like, I'm going to try that one. And then it was another one of those instances where I couldn't find it. I was like, fuck it, I'm going to move down to the next one. And I went down to the Terror Dome album. I was like, screw it, here it is. I'll check this one out. And I was like, holy shit, what did I find?
Yeah, you found a gem there.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, absolutely. And then, so I was like, well, screw it, I'm here by myself. I'm in the office already. So let me just knock this out ahead of time. I'll just knock it out now, so.
Might as well. So
yeah.
Save you some time during the work week,
Yep. Absolutely. So yeah, it worked out well. It's a fantastic album. Oh my Lord.
Yeah, I seen you post. I was like, well, I'm going to check that one out. I actually, I got the playlist together for the weekly stuff, but I haven't posted it yet. But I'm going to do that when we get off here, I guess. But it's I put one of the songs on there that I thought was like, man, this is definitely something that would pull you in and make you want to listen to it for sure. So so definitely going to check that out. So.
Speaking of, the funny thing is speaking of playlists, this is the third consecutive week at this point that we've had an interview. So we do have a theme of the week that we've started that we do. That we've been wanting to bring to you guys, but until we get back to, and of course it could be this week. We don't know. We don't have anything scheduled at this point as of right now. So it could be this Friday. We don't know, but we have a pretty good theme of the week coming up for you guys when we finally do find out for sure that we're going to be back with our classic format. Mm-hmm. So it's actually going to be potentially one of the longer playlists, but I think
maybe on your end.
I think oh yeah, that's true. I'm damn near at 30 at this point. So, but yeah. And the funny thing is I've actually showed it to Kayla. And she's like, have you guys done the playlist? She actually texted me. A couple nights ago because she works second shift. So our shifts kind of overlap. So she's at the end of her shift is like the beginning of mine. So she was at the end of her shift the other night and she texted me. She's like, have you guys done that playlist yet? I'm like, which one? She's like, this one. I'm not gonna, because I don't want to give away
Right.
I don't want to give away. She's like, that one. I'm like, no, not yet. I said, because we've had all these interviews, so we haven't done it yet. And she's like, okay, because I've got a list of my own. I was like, well, just hold on to it. So
Right. Yeah.
I said, just hold on to it. So
save it for a rainy day.
yeah. Because when we compile ours, I send it to
Yeah.
her. That way she can have some input on it too. So
Yeah. Cool.
So yeah, that's how some of these have gotten quite long.
Mm-hmm. All right, gang. Guess we'll try to wrap things up here just a second. Just wanted to remind you guys again, check out Cold Slither's self-titled release there. It's self-titled, right?
Self-titled debut
I thought
album,
it
yes.
was.
Mm-hmm.
It's like for some reason I second guessed myself there. Like, I'm pretty sure it is.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway,
self-titled debut based on the 40-year-old episode of G.I. Joe of the same name. The Cold Slither episode, the Cold Slither band, and the Cold Slither album.
Mm-hmm. Yep, Cold Slither of Cold Slither of Cold Slither.
Exactly. That's right.
There was some pretty big hitters out this week for album wise. If you want to check those out, Fit for a King released their Lonely Gods album. That's most people know who those guys are. So,
yep.
I thought there was another one. Maybe not. I thought there was two big.
Well, let's see. Let's take a look.
Miss one? Let's see.
Let's take a look back at it real quick here. Hold on. Let's see. Fit for a King.
I guess that was probably it. I don't know why I was thinking. Yeah. Oh well. That's all I see. That was kind of a bigger name band, but that's okay. Yeah. Maybe I was thinking about the week before.
Yeah, you might have been, but I mean, hell, this week, I mean, keep it all in context of what we're talking about, but kind of a little bit more of a shorter list compared to like
it was a little
compared to some of the weeks in July. But I mean, that's going to happen at some point.
Ooh,
but
that album comes out next week. The one that I was kind of talking about earlier, the Live Sin album.
Yep. Yeah, it does.
It's so good too.
Yeah. Of course, next week's album is. I mean, it's not short, but it's not long.
Yeah,
but I mean, we've got
harder than this week. So.
But I mean, we have Ashes of Aries coming out, Baby Metal, Black Braid, Dropout Kings, Live Sin. Who else we got? We've got Sinsanum, Temptress. So I mean,
yeah,
it's actually cool. And of course that's not all of it. But I mean, it's pretty.
Kind of touching the bigger, more popular bands.
Yeah, the more household names, of course. But of course, your results may vary, of course. But
that's right. And then August 15th, we got a new Chevelle album. Maybe they'll get paid for this one. So
they damn well better. Well, that's the thing is, I mean, on the 15th, just real quick, we won't go. The
15th is going to be a big week. Just to tell you.
Yeah, you've got Chevelle, you've got Ellis and Soto, their collaboration. You've got Insight. Oh my God, it's so good. You've got Insight. You've got let's see what else we got. No, I mean it's kind of a short.
Another band that we talked to had an album coming out the 15th. It's not.
Am I looking right past it?
No, it's not on there.
It's not on there.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can email them and add it because we got them to add the Hidden Intent album too.
Well, that's true. Yeah, we could.
Yeah. And then August 22nd, you've got Burning Witches, you've got Deftones, you got Feuerschwanz, which that one got moved back. And let's see what else.
I was going to say, I thought that
it was supposed to have come out already.
Yeah.
Iron Savior, I'm looking forward to that.
Oh yeah.
Let's see, Panzer Christ. Signs of the Swarm, 3 Days Grace, We Came as Romans. So I mean, August is actually
pretty heavy hitter in August. So.
August is shaping up to be pretty good. Let's see. Halloween. Well, looking forward to the 29th. Let's see what we got. We got Halloween. Let's see, Halloween. A Deep Purple 20th Anniversary Edition. Let's see. Not quite as busy on the 29th, but I mean, but August as a month looks pretty damn good. So
yeah, damn sure it does. So
it does.
So anyway, guys, don't forget to check out our 24/7 radio station at stream.trulyradio247.com/8008/stream.
That's right.
And then you can also follow us on all of our socials.
That's right. Our Facebook group and Facebook page. The page is public. The group is private. Send us a message, member request. We'll get you guys hooked up. X, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, and the email address, metalheaduniteusa@gmail.com. So
yeah, and then check out all of our other playlists on Spotify, as we talked about earlier, the theme of the week and the new the new release playlist. And then also email us or hit us up on our socials to get that 2023 Metalheads Unite Tour T-shirts still available for $20.
Yep.
Chris is going to find it for you. Look at that. Yep. World Tour 2023.
right there.
And then of course we'll have in works the 2024 one. I know it's like crazy, but we've had a lot of mainly we had a lot of issues with getting everything where we wanted it drawing wise, and we finally finally got that figured out. Now we got to pay for the products so before we release it to us, so we're working on that right now. So hopefully within the next 2 weeks I'll have that in hand, and then I can start pressing those. Then me and Chris can wear them on here and show you guys those. So
yep.
And then hopefully when my idea for 2025 is I'm already thinking about 2025 shirts now, because everything's been so crazy that I don't really like having them this late in the year. I want to have them like, by March at least, because, you're talking about the year before at this point. So,
well, the messed up thing is like the way we do, we don't, obviously we can't do our tour shirts the way bands do it, because we don't have
right.
We don't
have anything pre-planned. So
so we have to wait until the tour is over.
It's actually over. Yeah.
It's
quote unquote tour. Yeah.
Yeah. It's an ever evolving thing, which I mean is totally cool the way we're doing this. Yeah. Cause I mean, we still have a bunch of bands to schedule, and I mean we still have 4 full months left in the year.
Oh yeah.
I mean, on top of every band we've already talked to this year, we still have 1/3 of the year to go. So
yeah, it's crazy because I mean we're at we've talked to 14 bands already. So
yep.
So, and I think we've been averaging somewhere between 19 and 25 every year. So we're still we're on pace to do that again. So
yeah, we are.
As long as we're staying kind of I guess kind of
consistent.
Consistent, yeah. There you go. Yeah. That's a good word. So, as long as we're staying consistent, I guess I'm happy with that. But
yeah,
my whole point is like you can say, oh, we want to do more. We want to do more. Well. When you get to 52, you can't do anymore. So
that's true.
It's like, so 52 bands, that's it, because there's only 52 weeks in the year. So
that's right.
Unless we start doing two shows a week, which is probably going to be impossible at this point. But
because at that point we would probably both be single metalheads.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're exactly right. So,
yeah. So we probably get more slack with this than we deserve, to be completely honest with you. So
well, you're 100% correct. Luckily for me right now, my wife's in school, so when she does her schoolwork, I come in here and work on podcast stuff. So it's kind of like it's balancing out for me, anyways. She's doing schoolwork over there, and I'm doing podcast stuff over here. Every once in a while, she'll be like, "Put your damn headphones on. I'm trying to read." Like, okay, sorry. So
yeah,
but yeah, it is what it is. But
it is what it is. That's right.
Luckily, we've made it through 5 years of this shit. So I mean, it's going on 5 years.
Yeah, almost. Which still it's still every time we sit 5, it's still crazy.
Yeah. I might have to make an anniversary shirt too. That's maybe we'll do 2 shirts next year.
Yeah.
Make a big like display of all the shirts or something, and then
Oh yeah.
put it all on one and put 2025 on it or something.
Yeah.
5 years or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Because I mean, we've had 2 emblems, and then this is
Oh yeah, we have.
this is
Yeah,
the
I
third.
forget about that. Yeah.
This is the third shirt that we're about to do, and then the fourth shirt will be coming, so we can put all 4 of those on there together, and we could make a big 2025 T-shirt out of it, I guess. So
Hell yeah. All sorts of ideas.
yeah, we'll figure something else.
Yep.
Anyway, gang, hopefully you enjoyed the interview and everything else that came after, I guess. But
Right. Yeah.
even though we were just bullshitting, but it's like that's
That's
kind
the Metalheads Unite podcast.
that's kind of what we do, right? We're just bullshitting our way through it, right?
Yep.
Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed that. I'm not sure about next week. As of now, it's just looking like a regular format week, but that's what we thought this week too. So you never know. So we got they hit us up like Wednesday or something about that. I'm like,
I think it was. Yeah.
yeah. I'm like, dude, you're not giving me much time to. I'm like, okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
But
Just hedge your bet. Show up next Saturday at 10. We'll be.
that's
here.
right. Yeah. We'll be here one way or the
We'll be
other.
here.
Whether we're talking about the news and everything else and playlist or whatever.
That's
or
right.
We're talking to another band that like I said, we do have stuff out there. We're
we do.
waiting on to hear back what's available. So, so. All right, guys. Until then, keep those horns held high. Jump in that pit anytime you can.